Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching another episode of Speak Up, where I discuss different topics that I want to speak up about. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe and leave your comments below. So let's get into these topics to speak. Okay, so I have 4 light topics and then 1 heavy topic. And I also want you to be in tune for, I don't want to call it a special video, but it's more solo Speak Up, where we go in depth. And Q from day 26, he did speak on a podcast this past week on his experience with Diddy and his girlfriend at the time, Dawn Richards. But anyways, let's get into it. All right, so the show S.W.A.T that had recently got canceled, this is for the 2nd time on CBS, has now gotten somewhat of a saving grace. They're getting a spinoff, and they are keeping the main lead, Mr. Shemar Moore. Of course, many have to have known him from The Young and the Restless, where he played Malcolm Winters. He went on to do other movies and also Soul Train. So his job has been saved. And one thing that had been noticed, as when I was reading this article anyways, that, you know, the last time Shemar was really campaigning to keep the show alive, when it was canceled 2 years ago. But this time he wasn't really saying anything, so obviously there was something in the works. So we can read this little paragraph of this spinoff news. The S.W.A.T spinoff planned by Sony with Shemar Moore is set to reprise his role as Hondo. S.W.A.T Exiles will be the name of this spinoff. And while Shemar is reprising his role, also the 200-person production crew that helped make S.W.A.T a success will get to keep their jobs. I think that's great. I think that's great. Now, of course, that isn't so great for any of the other actors. Possibly Shemar Moore's father, but I don't know if he was on every episode. Oba Batum. I'm probably not even saying the name right. And I shouldn't have even opened my mouth to say anything. But anyways, yeah. So that's cool. They've canceled almost every other black show. To my knowledge and what I can think of right now, the only other black show that's on CBS is Sherlock. Morris Chestnut is the lead there. So I say, well, congratulations, Mr. Shemar Moore. Let's see how this goes. From what I read, that this will be a 10-episode series. I guess they're going to be taping 10 episodes just to test it out. This might even, well, I'm sure it will go on the app, because I think everything from CBS or from the parent company, which is Paramount, it'll be on the Paramount Plus app. Aaron Bresson Thomas, who helped in being the showrunner, I think he's one of the creators of the show, will not be a part of the project. It will be ran by Jason Ning. He was a writer on Lucifer. Lucifer was on the CW. I think it lasted about 3 or 4 seasons, possibly 5 seasons on the CW. It kind of had a cult following for a while. But you know, CW can hardly keep any shows these days. Yeah, again, shout out to Shemar Moore, getting some more opportunity with CBS. But you know, there's some other shows that are weird. I'm going to get off this subject. I was like, they got the dude from the New Kids on the Block. Now, he's been on a show, I think it was called Blue Bloods, and I think he's coming back with a new show that's very, very similar to what he just got off of, but let me mind my business. All right. Our next story is Jussie Smollet. As I did report a couple weeks ago in regards to, there has been a settlement with the Jussie Smollet case. You know, that he was involved in, it was first a crime case. First he says that he was jumped by some racist people, all that stuff, been attacked and all that good stuff. Then it was brought out that this was a whole lie, a hoax. The case was dropped, but then the city of Chicago brought it back up as a way of, well, he wasted our funds and money and time to do this investigation, and the jig is up. So anyways, at this point, they've reached a settlement, the case is done and all that good stuff, and now we get to know what exactly Jussie has to do. He settled a civil lawsuit with the city of Chicago, involving the alleged staged hate crime with a $50K donation to the Building Brighter Futures Center for the Arts. He will also donate an additional $10K to the Chicago Torture Justice Center. Jussie was presented with the opportunity to make a charitable donation in exchange for the case being dismissed. Despite settling, Smollet maintains his innocence. What he did say on, I believe, Instagram, either Thursday or Friday of this week, that these officials wanted my money and wanted my confession for something I did not do. Today, it should be clear, ... They have received neither. He says that he refused to pay the city, but did a charitable donation. For me, and many people have different views on this, I still feel like it was a hoax. And that's just that. I'm glad it's over because I think this has been about a 5-year type of ordeal. He did go on to say about, he's got to rebuild his career and all that, and he understands that people are still going to label him this, but he's ready to move on. And frankly, we all are. Well, Chicago may not, but at least let's move on. Whatever happened, I guess we will never know. And I guess we got to deal with it. All right, so our next topic, Pluto TV. Pluto TV is a free streaming service. What they are doing this summer is bringing back its free movie weekend program with the help of Oscar-winning indie filmmaker Sean Baker. This is according to The Wrap, and also shout out to, I think this was Yahoo that I got the information for Jussie. And deadline was for S.W.A.T, the S.W.A.T spinoff for Shamar Moore. All right, so back to where I'm at with Pluto TV. Shout out to The Wrap. I guess I didn't say it. I don't know. The initiative supports family-run and independent theaters across the country by offering complimentary movie tickets on select weekends, encouraging local attendance. And this year, Baker has become the first filmmaker to team with Pluto TV on this initiative. I think it's a good idea. I think it's also a way to bring back people to the movie theaters. Of course, a lot of that did dissipate because of COVID and the pandemic that we had. Or some people say Covisha, all that good stuff. And I think it's also cool that we have Hollywood meeting up with small business owners just to give them a spike and get people back into their theaters. So I think it's very cool. Shout out to Pluto TV and Sean Baker and to all of the movie theaters. I do have a list. I'll put it up. I know that there's one in Detroit, and that's what I could think of off the top of my head. But look, and maybe there's a theater near you where this could be helpful for you to go and indulge and also support independent movie theaters. And support independent filmmakers also. All right, so my next topic is Queen Latifah. She will be a biopic, or biopic, whatever you want to call it. She's developing it for herself, and it's going to be called Ladies First. Ladies First, yeah. It's in the works and will be part of a series of hip-hop biopics produced by Flavor Unit Entertainment, Westbrook Studios, and Jesse Collins Entertainment. Will Smith is also involved as a producer through Westbrook Studios. Apparently, this was announced back in September of last year, but it's being brought back up because Queen Latifah was on the Today Show with Jenna and Friends. Shout out to them. And she was talking about that is in the works and getting done and all that. I don't think I remember back in the fall, but anyways, cool. I'm glad it's back out there. Who do you want to see a biopic on? Leave that in the comments. I mean, I think that Queen Latifah doesn't get much respect within the hip-hop world. I mean, we could say Nicki this and Little Kim that, go Meg this, and ooh, Cardi that. But I mean, there's some folks that really trailblazed, that gave these folks opportunities to now be who they are. No, Queen Latifah did not stick totally with rap. She went on to be a television and movie star. So it was just this flip that was going on with the whole hip-hop rap world anyways in the 90s into the 2000s, where they were able to across genres in different ways, not just with television, but also, I mean, in music, but also in television and movies, and getting all these sponsors and all that. Now, I'm not saying this about Queen Latifah. I think it's David Banner that ended up saying that hip hop sold out. I can't say that he's wrong with that, but that just came to my mind when I'm talking about this. But that's neither here or there. But shout out to Queen Latifah. Will Smith, thank you for keeping him busy, as other people were shaming him for what he did at the Oscars. I think he's banned from the Oscars until 2031 or so, I think. But anyway, shout out to them. All right. So for my last and heavy topic, this involves Qaadir and Naazir Lewis. In March of this year, Qaadir and Naazir Lewis, their bodies were found, and they were unalived. And I'm trying to be YouTube friendly, so I got to say things a certain way. So there has been a what did they say? The investigation has finally gave their final thoughts as to what they think it is in regards to the investigation that they ran, and they're saying that this was a double unaliving, a self-unaliving. So also, I do want to just give a little trigger. If you are dealing with that, there is help. If you need help, there's many resources in regards to if you're thinking about ending your life. So, twins, 19-year-olds, they were found unalived on a remote Georgia mountaintop. The family called them the Ding Dong Twins because they moved as one. They had big plans for the future. They were deciding on where to go on a cruise to celebrate their upcoming 20th birthdays. And they had dreams of becoming entrepreneurs. Their unalived date was March 8th of this year, 2025. Investigations at the time said, with the preliminary evidence, suggested a unalived, I think I can say suicide. Hopefully I can. An outcome their family members refused to believe. Their Aunt Jasmine Brower said on Facebook in April, someone took their lives away. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation released a sobering new finding based on the autopsies and other evidence that the twins both were unalived by self-unaliving themselves. Both twins were fired a pow-pow. And in addition, they had searched in their phone internet history, showing there were searches related to unaliving and how to load a pow-pow. The family still has questions, and so do I. They feel the final ruling was rushed and closed too soon. 2 months, April, May, 2 months. And they ended up saying they had plans and did not own a weapon. We're getting a timeline of what happened the night of or hours leading up to what has happened to them. They bought snacks at a gas station 12 hours before. This was March 7th. Naazir was supposed to fly to Boston to visit his girlfriend. Records show that Naazir had a ticket and went to the ATL airport, but never boarded the plane. The family spoke with the girlfriend in Massachusetts, who told them he missed his flight and had to reschedule it for 7 a.m. on March 8th. That's just a few hours before what happened to them. With investigation, they show a receipt on March 5th. Ammunition for the gun was delivered to the house in Naazir's name. He purchased the bullets. Oh, Naazir purchased the bullets. Okay, ammunition. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. So the family is speaking up. They're saying that this is not like them at all. Qaadir attended an aviation maintenance school and wanted to work on airplanes. Naazir was studying automotive repair at Technical College. Their ultimate goal was to be entrepreneurs because they had no interest of working for anyone. Starting at an athletic clothing line called Overkill was their ultimate goal. The family went to the mountains to retrace the steps of what the twins were doing up there, if they were up there. There's a sign that says, "Warning, steep grade." The family was baffled by the timeline that night because there's a barricade to the park that was supposed to be locked every night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The twins didn't leave the gas station until after 10:24. So I'm trying to figure out, when was this flight? Now, that's the only question I got. The first flight. Because that's quite interesting that there was this late night flight to go to Boston if he had to reschedule to get the next flight at 7 o'clock in the morning. Unless they had went to the airport, found out they missed the flight, and then went to the gas station. I think that's the only thing that I didn't hear. Or notice exactly when did the moves were made in that regard. So right now the family, they have a GoFundMe account to hire a private investigator. It's not about the funeral. Probably that's been taken care of. Yeah, I have some questions about that. Two twins who I could see on the law side on what they're saying, and then I can also see on the family side, because there's nothing that gave them that they wanted to end their lives. Especially they were already planning for their birthdays and already planning to go someplace, and now this has happened. There's got to be foul play. Hopefully that they do reopen the case. Whatever this whole thing about the gun thing, where did the gun come from? The pow-pow come from? Where did it come from? There's no messages of goodbye. It was just mysteriously on a mountain someplace. It's quite interesting. Was there any type of notification of them going to a mountain? Did they travel up there before? There's no history of that. So for them to just, something else has to be found. My prayers is with the family, and hopefully that they get the justice that's needed. And the FBI or Georgia BI, they need to come up with better answers than what they got. But that's all I do have. Y'all have an amazing rest of your weekend. Happy Memorial Day to ones that do celebrate it, and just enjoy your Monday off if you're off. But until the next one, peace.